Big exciting news to start your Tuesday morning, Election Day. All eyes are on Wall Street, pushing for your second stimulus check, and stimulus package, pushing for the Federal Reserve to step in. The focus will be a little bit distracted today because there's something going on. But come tomorrow morning, that push is going to be loud and clear. The bond market is up, suggesting that they're preparing to ride stimulus. Stock market is up. New renewed optimism that stimulus will get passed, less election uncertainty, and less concerns about election. You know, that thing where they say, I didn't win, you won. Whatever you call it. The good thing to know is that we're winning. We're always winning because we don't have that hairstyle of that person from San Francisco. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Mornings LALATE. Hope you're good and safe. It's a Tuesday morning, 8:30 here on the West Coast. And it's a great day. Incredible great news for your second stimulus check and stimulus package, third stimulus check, third stimulus package, amid new lockdowns or what you call curfews being installed in Chicago, El Paso, and Newark, but concerns about lockdowns coming across the country. As Scott Gottlieb, head of the FDA, has now warned, thousands of deaths could be coming in just a couple of weeks. So let's get it going. Let's get focused for stimulus relief, and we are. If you've not subscribed to the Fronts channel, go to the Fronts channel, subscribe, because today I'm going to be throwing it up all different. You're going to be seeing a lot of high-tech, low-tech, no-tech solutions to get you relief and information all throughout the day. I'll be detailing them for you a second right from now. It's really quite exciting stuff I'm going to be doing for you today. And also, like this video, it's helping. We're ranking number 1, 3, 5, 7. Yeah, we love the odd numbers all around the world today. In this video, I'll be getting into incredible great news about stimulus relief. Why Wall Street is pushing loud and clear for stimulus relief by act of Congress. They're making it really a big rallying cry as now several of the factors which I told you Wall Street was focused on last week are sort of falling by the wayside. Election uncertainty, well, that's not going to be an issue as of tonight. Second, contested elections. There's now belief that the issue of contested elections may not be as big a concern as initially thought, and that risk is already embedded in the markets. Third, issues of lockdown and coronavirus. That is not currently a concern at the moment because the number of COVID-19 cases, which ran up last week, has a little bit flattened. So they've already embedded that risk. So that leaves us with your stimulus. All incredible great news. So excited you joined me for this morning. The coffee's brewing, the toast is toasted. I'm here, you're here. And there's actually 2 cameras recording. I'll explain to you more about that in a second. A really exciting new morning. All right, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that Wall Street is trading up on belief that stimulus is coming to you. The bond market is trading up on belief that stimulus is coming to you. And Wall Street is shouting loud and clear, get that stimulus going. Let's get it going. New analyst reports today, yesterday, all say that stimulus is just around the corner. And they're shouting loud and clear to get that second stimulus out and prepare for the third stimulus, which is the December to March stimulus. More about their statements in a second, but let me get to the money. We all talk about the money, the routing times, the provisions, and the executive orders. And in this video, I'm going to be going a little bit more over other items because I detailed them on purple, and that was a big hit yesterday. These other grants that I haven't talked about. So let's get to it. Stimulus checks. There will be stimulus checks coming to you under a second stimulus check per provision. All indications say you will be getting a second stimulus check. So there's no doubt about that. The amount and the number of checks is the issue that is uncertain. But what is great news is that, one, if you're on SSDI, SSI, or Social Security or Railroad benefits, and you did not get that first stimulus check, you're getting one. Everyone has gotten rid of that horrible provision in the first stimulus package, which said if you're an adult dependent, like a veteran who served this country, but you file your taxes on your son's tax return, you didn't get a first stimulus check. Well, they've gotten rid of that. So that's the real incredible great news. Everyone's going to get a check if you make a certain amount of income or less than that. So that's all good. Second, it wouldn't be taken out for child support. It wouldn't be taken out for taxes. It wouldn't be taken out for debt collection. So you're actually getting the check. Then the routing times. You would get the check about 10 days after it becomes law, and about maybe 14 days if you add for paper check, because the paper check takes a few more days. Routing times are based upon if you're set up for electronic receipt for SSDI, SSI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, or you pay your taxes electronically. I've had some people ask me questions. What if I've changed bank accounts? Then from what they know, what if I have, changed locations? It's very important as we get very close to the passage of any law that you get everything in place and don't change anything. Generally, I say non-filer filing is the best way to do that, but ultimately go to the IRS's website. They generally provide provisions that you can update them on bank accounts, you can update them on addresses, and then I always have those wonderful great news that people had a new child and they want to make sure that that child gets a dependence check. So make sure that the IRS knows that. Finally, if you didn't do the most obvious thing, which is file your taxes, get that on file, because that's the way they know where you are. All right, really great news. Then let's talk about the check amounts. The check amount will likely be higher than $1,200 is what the push is currently, but everything is just still up in the airs. The president, who is your president as of today, and is your president as of tomorrow, Donald Trump, he has said that he is going to go high, has gone higher, that he's offered more than what Steve Mnuchin's last offer was. And by all accounts, if there's a higher offer, it's not rejected by the Temple of Doom. It's generally accepted. There's no desire to not give stimulus among these people. There's generally a desire to give as much stimulus as possible. So I'm going to deal with the higher numbers this morning, rather than deal with, this is negative and this is, I'm going to deal with the higher numbers because we're going to the higher numbers. So Steve Mnuchin's last offer was $1,200 for all adults and $1,000 for child. And then the president said, we're going higher. I've offered more than that. So how much higher? Don't really know. Maybe $2,000 for adults, maybe $1,200 for child. This is all incredible, great news. Then the issue of multiple stimulus checks. Steve Mnuchin said he would do a multiple stimulus check, but perhaps not in the same bill, that he'll just do one now and he'll do another one later. Problem Solver said they would want one now and one in March. Viewers of this channel say, hey, you know what, Harris, if the Biden-Harris ticket wins, then why don't you do the Harris bill? The Harris-Sanders bill and Markey, which said $2,000 every month for 6 months, or until the pandemic improves and unemployment goes down. Well, the pandemic is not going away, and it's certainly not improving, and it won't go away to at least February, because the therapeutics for the virus and the vaccine for the virus, at earliest account, would not roll out until February by mass consumption. So, that's a lot of months of checks, and it's not one check. That's the bottom line. Viewers understand that $2,000 times, what are we at? 7 months now is $14,000. They understand that's a big pull, but they also understand that $1,200 is a very narrow payment, a small contracted payment. So there's a range of that, and that's why the followers of this channel, Purple Power, you need to be on social media. The Purple Power Caucus, hashtag MSC, multiple stimulus checks, hashtag Purple Power check. Get the narrative out, and we've been very good on getting this narrative out, because there's going to be a rush. There's literally going to be a rush to get this stimulus out after all the dust settles from everyone's hairspray from election night. And so after all that hairspray has worn off and they're like, oh my God, my hair looks still as bad as it did before, then they're going to start saying, okay, let's get this stuff out. And you want to get this narrative now so that they don't catch up and they're like, oh, well, I didn't think about that. I was sort of in a rush. No, you need to get the money out. That's the correct amount. Then FPUC. FPUC, where would FPUC land? It could land at $600 a week. It could land at $400 a week. It's not going to land less than $400 a week. The number of weeks retroactive, that's the big concern. The month of August seems to be forgotten by both Republicans and Democrats. They don't want to go retroactive to August. So that is July. That's the push of the Purple Power. Make sure they go to the date at which FPUC 1.0 expired, which is late July. And bring it all the way up to the present. Next, make sure you're not in one of those states that is now doing wonderful work by saying, you know what, our LWA citizens who did not qualify for LWA because of the $100 threshold, we're now coming in and paying it for them. So if you're in one of those states where you did not get LWA because of the $100 threshold, watch, because they may be stepping up and paying that money. Then there's everything else. So let me go over all the other grants quickly because there is so many. First, the hazard pay grant is not in there, but the Purple Power Caucus needs a push to get it back in. That's hashtag Purple Power hazard pay. Then there are other grants in there. There's the $50,000 Lifeline grant, which is if you're a sole practitioner or independent contractor or a business owner, anyone from an Uber and Lyft driver up to a business owner with 500 employees or less, anything in that range, you can get a $50,000 grant, or your cost of goods sold, the lesser of the two. So generally it will be the cost of goods sold. Next, EIDL grants coming back, baby. Oh yeah, it's coming back. Is it going to be $10,000? I don't know. If it's Jarita Carranza, you know she's ready not to pay $10,000. There's the CDC grant. The CDC grant, which is for all frontline workers. So this is W-2 and 1099 workers. So you don't have to be an independent contractor to get that. All frontline workers. That's the hazard pay-ish grant. Don't know the amount. There's a rent grant. That's for all my viewers. If you have an income level less than a certain threshold, it's generally the stimulus check threshold. So if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security benefits, that is something for you. The rent grant. There's a food program in there as well. And then there's something for children as well. So a lot of stuff in there. Then that brings you up to the present. Then we're dealing with third stimulus. Well, Chicago, El Paso, and Newark are now on what's called curfews. But Chicago's warning that they're at 7.1% infection rate, and if they go to 8%, they're going on lockdowns. Stimulus needs to go out. Wall Street saying, hey, get the stimulus out. The bond market, guess where the bond market is? Yeah, it's up near Chicago. So they're saying get the stimulus out. They're talking about third stimulus. Third stimulus is December to March because you can't go on lockdown without stimulus. So let me turn to what the markets are doing today in response to all this news. First, the bond market is up. It's up about 1%. And remember, the bond market, when it trades up, it's based upon the belief that it's going to cost money to issue stimulus, and that stimulus causes debt, and the debt is paid by the bond market. An analyst said this week, in a month with the S&P down, that was earlier this week, bank stocks were up 12%. Bonds were down because of the concern about the amount of debt that's going to have to be issued to fund the stimulus program. The same analyst said that when the bond market is up, it suggests stimulus is around the corner. And what I've said to you is that if bonds go up or down, if bonds go down or flat, doesn't mean the stimulus is not going out. It means that because they've already embedded it into the price of the bonds now. The fact that the bond market trades up means that they think stimulus is around the corner. Dow is trading up 577 points today, or up 2.1%. S&P is up to about 2%, and Nasdaq is about 2%. Tom Essay, founder of the Stevens Report, says ultimately the markets want clarity, and the main threat to risk assets this week is the emergence of a contested election. So if the races are tight enough for campaigns to sue or halt extended recounts, expect a reversal of this morning's rally. So this is quite interesting. Ironically, contested elections may not be good for stimulus talks, not for stimulus ultimately. Why? Because if there is if the races are too close, then there will be contested elections, and the contested elections tomorrow will cause the stock market to go down, and contested elections will take the oxygen of broadcast news away from stimulus and focus on contested elections, which are very, they're big news stories. A declared winner, however, would certainly be better for these markets, says Art Kogan, chief market strategist at National Securities. If we wake up tomorrow, Wednesday, and we don't have a clear winner, we shouldn't be surprised the market may go down. But if we're talking about the middle of the week, about court cases and recounts, that's going to be the worst case scenario. So he says, even a little bit contested elections is fine. But if you see big battles over contested elections going on over a week. This is Gore Bush 2020. Then expect the markets to go down and expect the oxygen level to perhaps get eaten up from stimulus negotiations. Jim Cramer this morning said, I know that this sounds simplistic, but the market is simplistic. We always try to make the market somewhat sort of Eisensteinian philosophy. As the election finally nears, investors are selling off on the rumor, may now be buying on the news, and finally, after almost a 10% decline in last month, buying on the dip is back, meaning that they're hoping that we're almost at the bottom of all this and that we can focus on stimulus and then head right up. I think that no matter who wins, we'll have a quick dip and then you'll have to get ready for next thing, said Cramer. Then the elections. I got to give you some election news. A CNBC report this morning from Frank Lutz, who's a pollster and not a GOP pollster. I'll disclose that as the following. He says that the election results today are down to a 3-person race. Me, Biden, and Donald. A 3-state race, North Carolina, Florida, and Ohio. And that if Trump wins if Trump wins 3 of them, he wins. And if Biden wins 1, he wins. Then this Scott Gottlieb, former FDA commissioner, says that the number of COVID-19 cases you could see is 1,000. Finally, the Senate. Guess who gave an enormous amount to the Senate races? We're going to be talking about the Senate all day today. Netflix head Reed Hastings and his wife, Petty Quillen, donated $5 million to the Senate Majority PAC, a group backing Democratic cases in the closest Senate races of Maine, Texas, and Iowa. Very interesting. Meantime, let's send our prayers to Chicago, which is at a positivity rate of 7.1%. And if it reaches 8%, then it will go on lockdown. And with that, you're up to date with your morning news. Now a personal note and a programming note. Today, the anticipated plan of action is the following. There's actually 2 cameras recording as a test. What will anticipate to be done this afternoon is that all programming that is usually taped will let me say this again, that your morning and afternoon's programming schedule will remain generally the same. But then by start of early evening on the East Coast, what this channel anticipates to do is have 2 types of feeds. First, a live broadcast feed that will be on camera with 1 camera shot at this position. The live camera will remain live throughout the afternoon to the late evening, to the extent that the camera doesn't lose battery. Maybe I should plug it. And the live feed will remain in place. Meantime, I will be taping short segments, which you will see as on the live feed. Short segments as states are declared winners, whether it's a presidential announcement or a state announcement. Those broadcasts will be shorter in speed and shorter in length, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, so I can get them out very quickly. But you can also watch on the live feed. I'll fully disclose that the live feed is not going to be your typical election night coverage, so I wanted to have it fun. Someone said, let's have a party. Well, this will be a party. There'll be alcohol on set. There'll be dancing going on. There won't be glow sticks, but it's supposed to be fun. So bring your fun, bring your excitement, and have a ball with me. It's a little bit like New Year's Eve on election night. So this is like anything else. Let's just hope technically I pull it off. As always, you'll see 2 things. First, a live feed, and you'll see the individual broadcast clips that are taped feeds every time an announcement comes out. As always, go to the front channel, subscribe, because it's days like this you have to subscribe so you don't miss anything, and also like this video. Coming up next is 28, our season finale. Thank you for a series finale. Thank you for joining us on that incredible series run. The last and final episode at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay that life for more.